Hey there, space explorers! Today, we're going on an exciting journey to the magnificent planet Saturn. Are you ready? Buckle up because we're about to dive into some amazing facts that will make you fall in love with this gas giant. First up, let's talk about size. Saturn is the second largest planet in our entire solar system. And wow, is it big! Imagine if you could stretch out your arms and try to hug it. You'd have to reach out a whopping 74,900 miles, or 120,600 kilometers. That's like trying to hug a giant balloon that's way bigger than your house. Can you even picture that? While Earth is our cozy home, Saturn is like the big, friendly giant hanging out in space. But here's the twist. Saturn is a gas giant. That means it's mostly made up of gases and doesn't have a solid surface like we do here on Earth. If you were to land on Saturn, you wouldn't find a nice, solid ground to stand on. Instead, you'd be floating in a sea of gases, mostly hydrogen and helium. It's kind of like being in a giant, fluffy cloud. Can you imagine what that would feel like? Just floating around in the air, surrounded by nothing but colorful gases? Speaking of colorful, let's talk about the most famous thing about Saturn, the rings. Oh, those rings are something special. They're not just any rings, they're made up of chunks of ice and rock, and they stretch out more than 155,000 miles wide. That's like if you took a giant hula hoop and made it almost as wide as the distance from the Earth to the Moon. Isn't that wild? And guess what? Those rings are so bright and shiny that they sparkle in the sunlight, making Saturn look like a giant jewel in the sky. Now, here's a fun fact. Saturn is actually less dense than water. Can you believe it? If you had a bathtub big enough to fit Saturn, it would float right on top of the water. Just picture it, this enormous planet bobbing around like a giant beach ball. It's hard to wrap your head around that, isn't it? And let's not forget about Saturn's moons. Oh boy, does Saturn have a lot of them. In fact, it has 146 moons, which is more than any other planet in our solar system. The coolest of them all is Titan, Saturn's largest moon. Titan is like a little world of its own. It has lakes and rivers, but here's the twist. Those lakes and rivers are made of methane and ethane, which are gases on Earth. It's the only other place in our solar system known to have stable liquid on its surface. Can you imagine sailing on a lake of liquid methane? That sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. Now, let's talk about time on Saturn. A day there is only 10.7 hours long. That's shorter than a day here on Earth. But hold on, get this. A year on Saturn takes a whopping 29 Earth years. So, if you were born on Saturn, you'd have to wait a long time to celebrate your birthday. Can you imagine waiting 29 years just to blow out the candles on your cake? Saturn has been known since ancient times too. It's one of those special planets that you can see with your own eyes, even without a telescope. It's the farthest planet from Earth that you can spot in the night sky. Just think about it. People have been gazing up at Saturn for thousands of years, wondering what it's like up there. Isn't that amazing? Now, let's talk about the name Saturn. It's named after the Roman god of agriculture and wealth, who was also the father of Jupiter. Imagine a big, powerful god looking down at us from the heavens, watching over his giant planet. That's a pretty cool story behind the name, right? As we wrap up our journey through Saturn, I hope you've learned some incredible things about this giant planet. It's a place of wonder, with its big size, fluffy gases, sparkling rings, and many moons. Saturn is truly a marvel of our solar system. Now, before you go off to tell your friends all about Saturn, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you enjoyed learning about Saturn, you'll definitely want to check out my other videos, like the one about Mars and the entire solar system. Just click the link in the description below to keep exploring the wonders of space. And remember to subscribe so you never miss an adventure. Thanks for joining me on this cosmic journey, space explorers. Keep looking up at the stars and dreaming big, because the universe is full of amazing things just waiting to be discovered. Until next time, keep exploring, and who knows what other secrets the universe might reveal to you.